One member of a local church who does not think like that is our featured Pride speaker today. We've been focusing this month on Pride allies and the importance of having friends. And I always go back to the Martin Luther King quote that has underlaid so much of what we've done here, that in the end what we will remember is not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And we always commit to not be silent friends. And when you do something like put a pride flag up at your church, you are saying we are friends and we are not silent friends. So please welcome one of those not so silent friends. Welcome back, Reverend Tuesday Rupp of the St. Paul Episcopal Church in Woodbury.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, friends, both present here and present online. I know that I'm your fifth speaker this afternoon, and it's warm and windy, so I want to be brief. I don't make a secret of the fact that I am a Christian, and 2,000 years ago, a rabbi, Yosef bin Joseph, or Yahshua bin Joseph, was asked what he thought the most important commandment was. There are 213 commandments in the Old Testament, and he was asked which one was the most important, and he said, of course, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And the second is like unto it, love your neighbor as yourself. Upon this stands all the law and the gospel. That's the foundation of my own faith. It's not something that I require other people to share, because love your neighbor as yourself does not mean that your neighbor will therefore have to model their life, faith, belief, ethics on the one that you have chosen. Unfortunately, in 2,000 years of Christian hegemony, that message has gotten lost for so many. And it's been a real journey for many of us to claw our way out of systems of patriarchy, systems of hegemonics, systems of suppression, to come back to that core message. In 2003, in the Episcopal Church, the Right Reverend Gene Robinson was consecrated as bishop in New Hampshire. He was the first openly gay Episcopal priest to be ordained as bishop. And this very fact of his existence, this fact of his leadership, and what we would describe in our own language as his call, was sufficient for so many people in the Episcopal Church to leave the church as they knew it in anger and in hatred. Why do I have a pride flag hanging on the sign of my church, a church that has its own history of both prophetic witness and of sins against Black people, sins against the poor that need to be reconciled? We have a pride flag on our church because we're aware of where we have been and we're aware of where we want to go. We want to see a faith and a town and a nation where anyone knows that they could walk into our doors and feel safe and welcomed, and that they would know in their heart and in their bodies that they are fundamentally made in the image and likeness of the divine, that they have the very DNA of the holiest of creation. I will add that not everybody is a huge fan of the only pride flag hanging on a church in Woodbury, which has been great because it gives me the opportunity to have lots of rich conversation with people who might not otherwise want to engage. And that's a good thing. I'm honored to be considered an ally in Pride Month. I am humbled by that. I'm humbled by the opportunity to change the story of 2,000 years, to begin to really go back to the most fundamental part at the heart of my faith. Love your neighbor as yourself. I hope that more of us who wear one of these things will find the courage to do the same. I hope that more congregations will support their leaders in finding the courage to do the same and seeing it as an opportunity to engage in real and loving dialogue, even with people who don't know yet that there's a bigger way and an open heart. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate very much this opportunity to be with you and to speak to you today.